Well, hello, sunshines. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to the channel. And before we go any further, I have a request. Yes, a request. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, please. That will really help the channel. Also, if you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. That will really help the channel as well. But I appreciate you all being here. So what we're going to work on today is we're going to get more seeds started. But first, let me show you, we have germination. So these are the seedlings that we planted up, well, seeds, now they're seedlings that we planted up together on January 21st. We planted up delphinium, pansies, and foxglove. And I have almost 100% germination. There are a couple of cells that have yet to germinate, but on the foxglove side, we have 100% germination. These are all of our foxgloves, and every cell has germination. Over here, we have pansies. These 3 rows right here are pansies, and we still have 1, 2, 3, just 3 cells that have not germinated. And then on this side, our delphinium, we only have 1 cell that has not yet to germinate. And so I noticed that there was germination maybe about, I don't know, just maybe about 5 days later or so. It didn't seem to take that long before I started seeing germination. I did have a humidity dome on top of them the whole time. Today is actually the first day that I've had them without the humidity dome because they no longer need it. So if these are going to germinate, these last few cells, hopefully they'll do that without the humidity dome. And so I'm going to get this section back under the light. And so in all, like, I would not recommend this again, like to sow half of the tray and not sow the other half, because this half that I'm going to sow now, of course, it's going to need the humidity dome. But I have a plan for that because I have other trays, so I'll just sit this out. But I think it would have been in my best interest to sow the whole tray at one time. And so this tray right here will go into these trays right here. We'll separate them. Let me see. And I'll get those back under the grow light. Be right back. And so now that those are under the grow light, which this might work out for me, because I have another situation here. I'm going to go ahead and sow the rest and then leave this side to the side. And so what we're going to sow today are more flowers. I'm going to be sowing more poppies. We did some poppies in the winter sowing method, but I want to also start some on the inside. I have some petunias I want to start. I have another type of poppy. So this is the California poppy that we're going to start. This right here just is Hungarian blue poppy. And remember, in flower world or in garden world, me and you both, in my opinion, especially, this is purple. But in garden world, a lot of things that we call purple in regular life is called blue. So this is purple to me, but that is the name of the poppy seed. Then we have some coleus that we're going to be planting up. Gorgeous colors. And some impatiens. And then we're starting on our vegetable side. I went ahead and I checked my calendar that I printed off of the Farmer's Almanac for what need to be planted up in February. Celery can be started now, but I am not going to start celery inside. I have found that it does great when I sow it directly in my raised garden beds, and that tells me I can do that on April 28th. And so I'm going to hold off on that. The other things that can be planted up this week, first week of February, I should say, are onions. So we're going to be sowing some onions, and we also are going to be sowing rosemary. So there are a few more things that need to be sowed in February, but for this first week, I'm going to sow those things. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, so I'm going to hold off on the other things that need to be planted out further in February. But we're going to plant up those things today. Sit that there. So we have some planting to do. So the other thing is that when we're working with soil, I tell you all that I use potting mix in order, move this to the side, and we'll talk about those too. But in order to start my seeds, I use potting mix. And sometimes I found with potting mix or even seed starting mix I have used that it can be a bit chunky sometimes for whatever reason. This garden mix that I'm using, this potting mix, I use it to actually pot up plants, and that's why I know that it's a bit chunky. Prior to this potting, getting that potting mix, I had this potting mix. This potting mix is called the Coast of Maine. It can be a bit pricey. It was like $15 for the bag, but I got it on a whim. I do like this potting mix. It was loose. It wasn't woody or anything like that, and it was great for seed starting. But I am out of this, and I'm not going to waste this. So what you can do if you get potting mix like this, because it can sometimes mess with your seeds, is I have a little basket here. This is like a Dollar Tree basket. I've had to do this before, is you just take your potting mix and you put it in the basket and you sift it. I know this can be time consuming and you might not want to do it, but for me, sometimes it's worth it. And so it's not that bad, this bag, but it was enough for me to say, let me at least show them what I would do. And so you see from that little batch, you see what's left. And I think these holes are a bit big. So I have another basket, but still, look at that. If you can see in the basket, we have quite a bit of clumpiness that was left behind. And so sometimes sifting your soil might work what's best for you if you get clumpy soil. Like all of this that's left in this basket now, this is all like mulch that didn't finish breaking down. And so if you get a bag of soil like that, that's what you can do. Take a little basket, use it, get it from the Dollar Tree, and sift your soil, and you'll get that nice fluffy mix. So I don't know if I'm going to sift the entire time, but I'm going to move this bag over here out of the way now. So sometimes we just have to find little tricks that will work. But if you don't feel like sifting, don't sift. The other thing I have here is I didn't really save them. I always have milk cartons. But when I typically sow my onions, and we're also going to be sowing rosemary, guys. We have an herb that needs to be sown too. When I typically sow my onions, I typically do them like in a shallow tray. Like one of those trays that you can grab from the Dollar Tree. I usually use a tray from like takeout. I'll save a tray and use it from takeout. I didn't have any. Because one thing about onions, they don't mind their roots being disturbed. You'll hear that. And so when I sow onions, I just like to sprinkle them all around the soil. And then after I sprinkle them all around the soil, once they begin to grow up some, I'll just, separate them. And sometimes by that time, I can just go ahead and put them outside. So, because I do not remember ever having to up pot onions. And so I'll just get those outside. And so I'm going to I need to put a slit for drainage at the bottom of this. Okay, so we got our 2 holes. Let me grab some coffee filters so that the soil doesn't travel outside of the container. We'll just stick that here. There we go. So let's get this filled up. We're going to do all the same methods, but I just find this easy with some of the plants. Like if you use those shallow trays and then when you go to, you know, thin them out, you can just separate them and up pot them that way. And you can do a lot of, let's get some water on this. You can do a lot of all year plants like that if you want to. If you want to start them all in little shallow trays and then up pot them later on, you can do that as well. And so there's so many ways that, and everyone has their own way of starting plants. So don't let it drive you crazy. Don't. Just use what you got. Sometimes you just have to use what you got. And I've just found that over time, that's what I'm doing. I'm learning. I'm using what I have. So let's shake these seeds. I'm going to actually shake the entire bag, entire packet. This is a packet, I think, from last year. So these onions are hybrid onions, and so we'll get those sown. And these are regular white onions. Okay. I do have some bunching onions, and I have the scallions. I don't think I want those, but these are yellow Spanish onions. So I might want to, I think I'm going to separate them, keep them separate. So let me grab a tag here. This is an exciting time for everyone. I'm so happy to finally like start sowing vegetables. I'm happy about my flowers too, because typically in past years, these are onions. I'm just going to do in parentheses a Y for yellow onions. Typically in past years, I've just planted up for flowers. I've only done marigolds, zinnias, and sunflowers. So this year, I wanted to, last year I did try some petunias. I think I told you all the story. So I put another, on top of the seeds, I just put a small layer of soil. So now I'm going to spray. I think I told y'all the story last year where I tried to start some petunias, and when I was moving everything from the house to the shed, my son dropped all of them and they just didn't recover. So seed starting does not, if you don't have all the trays and all the things, like, you can definitely use what you have. As you can see, these bottles don't just have to be for winter sowing. I want to just mix that very well. And so this doesn't have, obviously, a humidity dome. The tray that I am using right here, I believe I'll be able to fit that one. I'm not sure if I'll be able to fit both. Just one. But say you don't have a humidity dome, you can use saran wrap to just cover this. With the saran wrap, it will act as your humidity dome. I have saran wrap, but I left it in the shed because that's where I typically use it. But what I do have here as another option is I have a Ziploc bag. And so I already know it doesn't fit over there like that. But what I'm going to do is grab a pair of scissors. And I'm going to take this plastic bag because I don't want to go to the shed. And I'm going to just cut this plastic bag. Come on, plastic bag. Come on, scissors. We're just going to cut this. Got to improvise. Okay. So we're just going to put a slit in it and boom, just cover it. There goes your humidity dome. That's simple. Get a hole. So just imagine you don't want to spend all your money on trays, and you don't want to buy trays right now, but you want to start a garden. There you have it. A milk carton that we got from, because we buy milk. And then not only do we buy milk, most of us buy saran wrap, and if we don't, we buy a Ziploc bag. Take the Ziploc bag. You can get a bunch of Ziploc bags. Dollar Tree. I'm going to refer you to the Dollar Tree as much as I can, because why not? $1. It's not $1 anymore. It's $1.25, but why not? Grab you a pack of Ziploc bags, cut them, and voila. Put that underneath your grow light or wherever. Put it in the window and grow your seeds. I hope that helps someone. Okay, so let's do that again. We're going to go ahead and now we're going to get these Spanish onions planted up. And so in this, I'm not using sifted soil in this. And I may not sift the soil again for the rest of my seeds, honestly. I'm not too bothered by it as I'm going through the soil. Yes, it does have those bits in it, but I think you'll be okay. So now I'm going to do the Spanish onions. Nope, those are scallions. What did I do? Okay, we're going to do the Spanish onions because I want more bulbin onions. Both of these are bulbin onions. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just take this pack and I want a lot of onions because I will cut them up. I will freeze them. We will do all the things. So that we'll save that little bag and we're going to mark this Spanish onions. And I'm a lefty, you all, so it's so funny. I can't stand it. Like, I write on top of what I'm writing, if that makes any sense. And so a lot of times I'll smudge. And let me try. I forgot to water. Okay, gently. I'm going to gently water this. And because I forgot to water my soil. So I'm doing it gently so that the seeds don't go too far down. Okay, that's fine. So now I don't need to miss the top. So I'm just going to cover that. Actually, I am because it's dry soil. Put our tag in. And then we have our onions. And this can sit here with the humidity dome on top. So I don't need to put that in the plastic bag. Perfect. So what do we have next? We have rosemary. And we have, we have the buncheon onions, which my daughter wants. I think I have one more milk jug. Let's grab another one. Let's not forget to water this one in. Water this one in. And we're going to take and put our buncheon onions. The dishwasher's on. Oh my goodness. There are certain things that my family like, grow a lot of this, do a lot of this. This is a lot of seeds, so I don't think I'm going to be using all of these. Yeah, that's way too many. Okay. So make sure we close those correctly. Let's grab, and these are buncheon onions. And let's go ahead and cover that. I'm going to mist those seeds. We're going to put our tag. And for this one, I actually dropped I'm going to need the Ziploc bag for this one. Go ahead. Make a humidity dome for that. Okay, so those are all of our onions. So we can put, now we need rosemary. And what I'm going to do with the rosemary is I'm going to start the rosemary in this little container right here. I hear that rosemary can be difficult. I did start some last year though. I think it was last year. I started some rosemary. Could be wrong, but I know I had some in the garden, but sometimes I will go and buy starts. If something doesn't germinate for me, I will go and buy starts. But one thing I do want a lot of this year is herbs. I want my herb garden to be way more than I had last year. I typically do parsley, basil, cilantro, all the things. And I make my own seasonings. I think I told you all this before. We're just going to sow the rest of these. It's like just a couple. That was it. Kind of a couple. And so I'll try to like dry my herbs and make my own seasoning. And so therefore, I just want a lot of herbs. I did not have enough to get me through this winter as far as dry herbs. The only thing I have left is mint. And I just would prefer to have way more than just mint. This can actually fit in this tray along with this other one. So we'll sit that there. But I forgot its tag. Let's grab a tag for that rosemary. We don't want to forget. So I want to have way more herbs. So if I can get this rosemary to germinate, then that'll be great. And so all of these right here that, like I said, that I stuck inside the pots, I will, when it's time to come and need to, I will separate them and individually put them in their own trays or directly outside. So those are our veggies that we are sowing. And I don't need these because they're done. What I'm going to need to do is make a record of the fact that I'm out of onions and I'm out of rosemary seeds because I don't think I have any more. I'm just, so those don't spill all over. And we'll put our little container back in the box when the time comes. Okay, so on to our flowers, and I'm not going to sift any more soil. I think I will be fine. I'm going to take this already sifted soil and let's fill up our containers. I am growing a lot of, or attempting to grow a lot of annuals because I have a lot of containers that I want to fill, and I'm going to try to save money by growing like a lot of pansies. As you know, we did the pansies. As I showed you all, they all germinated. We did them in trays, and we also did them with the winter sowing method. And so I don't think I'm going to start anymore. They're more of a cool weather flower. So, but I want to be able to fill my trays. I started them early also, remember, because, and I'm still early, because I want these plants to be at a certain maturity so that when spring comes and it's time for me to do those containers, I'll be all set. Like I won't have to worry about those containers. And I won't have to buy a lot at the store. The only seed that I'm on the hunt for, and I hope I'm not too late, is I really like begonias. Begonias are one of my favorite plants for especially like the shade. And I just feel like they do well the entire time, like from spring to summer. Like every time I buy them from the big box store or whatever, I just find that they do very well the entire time in my containers. I even transferred some to the ground when I did my pots over and I took out some of the begonias. I transplanted them in the ground and they did well in the ground. And so I want to see if I can grow my own begonias. If not, I will have to purchase some because I really, really like begonias. We're going to go ahead and water these trays in. So you can, however you decide to do it, you can do it this way. There are some gardeners that I see that will just pour the water in the tray and just wait a little while and allow the soil to absorb the water from the bottom. There are a lot of gardeners that also will pre-moisten their soil, like in a container or something, or on this mat, and then put their soil in the cells. But this is fine for me, and whatever needs to drain will drain out, and we can pour out or just leave it. So this seems to work for me. And so I'm gonna not do a big hole, because what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put another, and y'all see the stick, I'm going to put a layer of soil on top. So just a little indent. You can always do an indent and cover it back and things like that. So y'all see me taking out this these little sticks as I go. That is one of the reasons for sifting your soil. So let's start with our coleus. I like coleus. I've used these in the containers plenty of times. They're just beautiful. Just like the begonias, they seem to last me so long, especially when I put them over in the shade area, or part sun, part shade inside of the containers. I do want more coleus. They say 10 to 21 days before germination, 30 days to full color. So we have some time, but I also hear that, oh my gosh, these seeds are so little, how just, 21 days, how long they can take. Oh my gosh. So with the coleus, I think, how many I have? Coleus, poppies, California poppy, this, impatiens, and petunias. Oh, perfect. So I'm just gonna, these seeds are so small, guys. I don't even know how many I'm putting in here. I'm just gonna drop them in here, and each one of these will get a row. And they're so little, I'm actually covering the hole back up because no way we needed that deep hole. Oh my gosh. Just in case. There is no way. These seeds are super tiny. There's still a few in here, but there's no way I need that much coleus. Okay, just so I don't lose track, let me go ahead and label. I'm gonna go ahead and just write all of the slips up. And I actually have one more tray left. I'm gonna check before I fill it up and double up with any one of these. I'm gonna check to make sure there's not something else that I can sew in here out of my flower container. I'll have to get it. So these are our petunias. And once again, these petunias, the coleus for sure, and impatiens, and what else? What else? I was just talking about it. The impatiens, the pansies, those will all, and there are not a lot of seeds in here for the petunias. So I'm going to try my best to just try to put one or two. Just grab one or two. There we go. 3, 4. Okay. These will all help with my containers. These annuals right here will all help with my containers. That is the goal. I know that I'm going to still probably go and get some things. Next up are the Impatiens. Probably still get some things, but we'll see. And the Impatiens too, they did so good last year. Like, they stayed colorful. I bought some in the house and put them in water and rooted them and all the things. Oh my gosh, it's like 1,000 in here. What? Am I missing something? Are these all seeds? Easy to plant. Oh my gosh, are these all seeds? If you all see what I'm seeing. Okay, we're gonna just sprinkle a little bit. These can't be all seeds. I need to read this packet again. Maybe it is. I have no, it just feels like it's mixed with, it's just so, I got these from the Dollar Tree. Let's see what it says. Add a pop color, shady sites. Yep. These are vigorous plants. It doesn't tell me, but look. Can you all see it? Are those all seeds? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I put enough of whatever in there. We'll see what happens. Wow. Oh my gosh. Yes, I need glasses to read the back of the package. Now we're going to do our California poppy. Oh my gosh. Wow. When you don't think, you see everyone with glasses, you're like, I've never had to wear glasses. And then you go and they're like, oh, it's glasses time. You're like, what? Okay, we're not going to use all these poppy seeds. Take these off. The poppies, I believe I'm going to be using them inside the landscape. They will be inside the landscape. I need to look at that package actually to see how tall they get. Because I want my the wall garden, I want up against the wall to be filled with tall plants like my poppies. If these are the version that get really tall, I think all of them do. Zinnias, what else do I have? Delphinium. Like, I want that wall to be filled up. Let's see how tall these get. Friendly, 3 plants per 16 inches tall. So yeah, they are. These ones right here, I think this is 20 inches. Yep, these are 20 inches tall. So let's put these Hungarian poppy seeds in. And I believe this is the last sowing that I will have of flowers. I believe. I did want some bachelor buttons though, so I don't know why I tell you all that and then I turn around and make a video like, oh, we're sowing more here, we're sowing more flowers. I am finding that a lot of the flower seeds are so tiny, but that should be enough. And these poppies are annual for me as well. So let's go ahead and get lightly soil the top of these rows, leaving this one because nothing's in that one. See if there's any other flowers that we can sow today. I also grabbed the humidity dome. I hope that onion can fit in here. So these are my flower containers, and some of them I'm going to be direct sowing. A lot of them, not a lot, but nasturtium I will direct sow. Cosmos, alyssum, I had no problems. Sunflowers and pansies, I believe I'm going to direct. So some, it's just too early. Not pansies, sunflower. I did enough pansies. And then I have more poppies. I don't need to sew those, but I wish I didn't open the other pack because this one, maybe I'll do some snapdragons. We already have foxgloves inside and outside, delphiniums inside and outside as well. You know what? Let's do the snapdragons because I only have snapdragons in the winter sewing method. So let's go ahead and mark this one as snapdragons. Okay, I grabbed the humidity dome too, and this is where we're going to put, and then we have the rosemary, so in here. So let's see if this is tall enough, or do I need to cut it? It actually fits perfectly. Okay. All right. Just want to push these down some more. There we go. The tags. That fits perfectly. So that's great. So what a mess we have made today. I feel like I wasn't looking up at you all enough. I'm sorry. I know you're there. I was paying you all attention. But look at what we got done today. I am so excited about this time of the year, just sowing more and more seeds. And about a week or so, we're going to start way more vegetables than this. But I'm glad to get our onions settled, the rosemary, and then all the flowers that we got sown today. And I'm loving the progress of the flowers that we already sowed back on January 21. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. I have a mess to clean up. It's not going to be that bad. You now know I need my glasses to read the packs. That's okay. You learn something new about everybody all the time. Anyways, until next time, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to leave me a comment. I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day. Blessings. Bye.